Hello, hello. The name is Regis Kilbin, and the game is Overwatch. I've been waiting a very long time to say those words. Thankfully, Blizzard has finally announced that the beta is almost here, and in a couple short weeks, some of us will be lucky enough to join the wonderful world of Overwatch. Finally. If you're one of the few who does get a beta invite, and you're looking to be prepared by learning the ins and outs and the basics of the game that we know so far, this is the video for you. This will cover everything that you need to know to get started in Overwatch. The world does need its heroes after all. Of course, before you do anything else, you're going to want to make sure that you are, in fact, signed up for the beta. So first things first, head to playoverwatch.com. This is what the front page looks like. It's beautiful. And you'll notice this yellow button up here in the right corner that says beta. Click that bad boy to start the beta sign-up process. Now, I don't know how Blizzard is going to pass out beta invites, but theoretically you still have time, so it can't hurt to try to get in the beta if you're not already. You'll see that I have signed up many moons ago. Eventually, through this process, you want to land on a screen that looks like this one, and make sure that this Overwatch box is checked to indicate to Blizzard that you do in fact want to play this game as soon as is humanly possible, just like the rest of us. The first thing you need to know about Overwatch is that scenes like this are apparently pretty common in this amazing sci-fi world that Blizzard has rendered. It's going to be fast-paced, frenetic, and it's going to require a lot of concentration and focus and some definite mechanical skills to survive. Of course, that was a CG rendering from a trailer, and this is in-game footage that shows that it really doesn't slow down in-game either. There are a lot of crazy moments, and you really don't get a break when you're playing Overwatch. There are giant monkeys landing on your head, there are constant skirmishes and objectives, there are lots of abilities to adjust and adapt to, and it's really just an adrenaline-fueled fight from start to finish. Despite all the action in Overwatch, it's anything but a simple deathmatch. This is a team-based and objective-based first-person shooter. There are two game modes that you're going to encounter in Overwatch, the first of which is payload. One 5-person team in this mode will be trying to move a payload across the map, while the other team is forced to defend its movement and keep it in place. Now, in the point capture mode, one team will essentially be trying to capture various points on the map while the other team defends against them, giving a game a real strategic element for vision and positioning. In each of these modes, there are 3 different maps to give the game a little more flavor and variety, and you'll have to learn all the nooks and crannies on each of these maps if you want to be anything close to successful. Temple of Anubis is an Egyptian-themed map with a lot of height variations and hiding spots. Hanamura is a Japanese theme map that features some of the coolest design in the game. It is absolutely stunning in every way. And Volskaya Industries is a heavy-duty, mechanical, industrial, pure science fiction style map. In the payload mode, there is Watchpoint Gibraltar. This is kind of the go-to iconic style for Overwatch that captures much of the game's aesthetic. There is King's Row, which looks like an old British-themed neighborhood with some amazing skyrises in the background, as you can see. And finally, there's Numbani, an African-themed map. It's going to be a lot of fun for mobile characters, and especially those who can't take to the skies. So, dozens of characters have already been revealed as playable heroes in Overwatch, but before you get to know them individually, I think it helps to understand the 4 primary roles in the game. There are 4 different kinds of characters, essentially archetypes, if you will, that the characters can fit into. And depending on the needs of your team and the goals of the map, it's going to be important that you understand those roles and are able to play each of them well. In Overwatch, you can actually change your character at any time in a match, so you're not locked into a choice. So if you make a bad strategic decision early and pick a defensive character even though you're on the offensive side of the map, you're not penalized. You can actually switch to an offensive character instead. So understanding that flexibility and when to be a certain role and what your team composition looks like and how to adapt into that composition is going to make you a much better Overwatch player and have the confidence to do things you otherwise wouldn't be able to. When it comes to offensive characters, they're all about doing tons of damage as rapidly as possible. Their gameplay is going to feature a lot of mobile elements where they move around the map rapidly. You saw teleport just there. Outputting lots of damage, quick kills, and taking capture points. Those are their strong points. So as a support character, you're not going to be the center of attention. Your primary goal is making your team as good as possible. And you're going to do that through a series of different buffs, depending on the character, and primarily by healing them. You want their health pools to be nice and full as much as possible. Now that can be useful whether you're on the aggressive end and you're trying to capture a point and you need some sustained healing, or even on defense as well to make sure your defenders can stay full. And support characters aren't the most lethal characters in the game, but they do pack a little bit of a punch. When it comes to defensive characters, you're going to lack the mobility of offensive characters, but you're awfully good at setting up position and defending it. You'll have different utility abilities like this turret that we're building, for instance, that allows you to lock down a position and keep encroaching enemies from approaching safely. As a tank, you want to use your giant body and large health pool to get right in the middle of fights and absorb as much damage as possible. If you're absorbing damage, that means your teammates aren't taking damage, and that means you're gaining an advantage over the enemy team. So the more you can distract, get in the way, and become the big old center of attention, the better off you are. Now, I'm not going to run through every single character in Overwatch in great detail, but I do recommend that you familiarize yourself with each of them and their ability sets and what they do before you jump into your first game. Otherwise, things might get a little crazy. As you can see, there are already quite a few characters with amazing designs, and it's really a joy to just look through these, if nothing else, to appreciate what Blizzard has already put together and the fantastic art design. So if you want to see these in more detail, of course, you can just click in on the front page here and read all about them. They've got nice gameplay videos of each and ability breakdowns with videos that describe each one. So there's really no excuse to be unprepared when it comes to individual hero ability sets and the different kits that they have. Information is power, and power is going to make you awfully good at Overwatch. So I think you know enough about Overwatch to get started in the beta, but I have one more piece of advice before we go, and that is don't worry. If you don't get an Overwatch Beta invite, the world is not ending, so don't be bitter, don't be upset, and certainly don't burn down Blizzard's headquarters. There will come a day when we all get to play Overwatch, and it will be a joyful one indeed. So until then, game on.